I'm Dr. Deb Scott from Stephen F. Austin State University. I'm the professor of trombone and bass trombone, and I'd like to talk a little bit about this Etude number 2 from the TMEA All Region and All State Auditions. This is in the Selected Studies book by H. Foxman on page 4, G minor Etude. And the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that it is an etude. An etude means a study of some kind. And I think in this particular etude, this study, the thing that we're studying is articulations. They're very clearly marked all over the place. A lot of it is slurred and a lot of it isn't. And so you need to pay attention to what is slurred and what is not. I want to talk in particular about a pattern that occurs throughout this etude, and that's the 2/8 notes that are paired together, slurred together. And when we have a marking like that in music, we want to think about the first eighth note being a little bit more accented than the second eighth note. So you lean into the first eighth note. So this happens again and again. And look at measure 2. Starts on a B flat. So I'm accenting the first note, right? Dee-da, and then kind of lifting on the second note. And so that happens again in like measure 9. So anywhere where you see that, I encourage you to lean into the first note and kind of lift on the second note. It really culminates in measure 24. This is where it changes a little bit. The accent now is on the upbeat because you're slurring into the downbeat, but the concept is the same. You keep the accent the same as what we just talked about. But it is also interspersed by notes that are articulated or tongued with a good T sound. And so you want to make that difference. So you can see that's probably the peak of the piece right there, the peak of the study. You have mastered your articulations by the time you get to that measure. That also has a marking called poco rallentando, which means to slow down right there. And then a fermata on the D to hold it as long as you want to right there. And it's a very nice musical moment. It's always important to look up the terms that are in your etude. At the top of the page it says dolce e sostenuto. That means softly and sweetly and sustained. That's very important to playing this correctly. If you don't pay attention to these terms, you're going to be missing some things. On the second line in measure 6, another poco retard, and then a poco stringendo, which actually means to speed up. And in this section I like to do another accent, this time on the quarter note. I'll start on the poco stringendo. And so the musical line is rising, and so I'm accenting how that's happening as I play, and that's a fun thing to do. Don't ever think that you can't add more dynamics than is written on the page. You can always add more. You just want to adhere to what's on the page. But if you want to do a crescendo, you feel like that phrase should have a crescendo, feel free to go ahead and do that. So that's my little talk. Good luck on the G minor etude.